and sports certainly go together, and the topic of kids and concussions have been in the spotlight. But do you really know the signs and the symptoms? Here to give us the facts from the Elmhurst Hospital Neuroscience Institute, welcome Dr. Lawrence Frank. Hi, Dr. Frank.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So tell us first what you do exactly at this institute.
So my specialty is called physical medicine and rehabilitation. It's called physiatry, and I specialize in the non-surgical care of neck, back, and sports injuries.
Yeah, I have to tell you, as a former football player, this topic is really, really important, and it's something that hits really close to home for me. So we're going to play a little fact or fiction. We're going to go through some statements, and you tell us whether they're fact or fiction. Here's our first one. You only have to worry about concussions with high-impact sports like football. Audience, weigh in. Val, what do you think?
I say it's fiction.
Yeah, I think
because
the audience...
Max plays soccer, and they get hit in the head with the ball all the time.
Right. What do you think, Doc?
I agree, it's fiction. When it comes to concussions, anyone can suffer a concussion. It all has to do with hitting your head against a hard object. It could be just falling off your bicycle. It could be in soccer and other sports, or in non-sports activities at all, slipping and falling on some ice, etc. And the way that works is the brain is covered carefully by your skull. And what happens with a concussion is that when you hit your head, a forward part of your head can hit against the inside of your skull. And then there can be some little bit of bruising in the front. And then as it recoils, and it recoils backwards against the back part of your skull. So it can be the front and the back part of your brain can be injured when you hit your head. So that's how concussions work. And then it causes a miscommunication of the nerves inside the brain that causes various symptoms.
All right, here we go with our second one. You must lose consciousness for a head injury to be a concussion.
No,
that's fact or
fiction. I don't think that's true.
Everyone's holding up fiction, Doctor.
I agree, it's fiction. You don't have to lose consciousness. Good audience. Concussions are diagnosed mostly by the symptoms, and the symptoms include things like headache. They include things like nausea and vomiting, loss of balance, difficulty with memory, etc. So things like that are most important. Only the worst concussions show signs on MRI and CT scan where there can be bleeding around the brain, and that's something that that's obviously a big medical problem. We're not typically called a concussion, more of a brain injury.
All right, here's our next statement. A brain scan will not diagnose a concussion.
Ooh. A brain scan will not diagnose a concussion?
Yeah, we got some mixed answers. What do you think, Val?
I feel like a brain scan could, so I'm going to say that's fiction.
You mean fact?
No, you said...
fact. Okay, I got you. Sorry,
yeah.
Fiction. That it would. What do you say, Doctor?
Okay, well, it's the answer is fact that the brain scan does not. A brain scan will not always diagnose a concussion. Sometimes in the most severest cases, you can see bleeding around the brain. But again, the symptom, the way we do it in sports medicine is we give our high school athletes a symptom checklist, and we follow along to see that there are symptoms such as loss of tingling in the ears, their memory loss, etc., that they're getting better over time. So we follow a symptom checklist to make sure that that we can diagnose and treat these people properly.
Are we getting closer in technology to having scans that would be able to detect the concussion?
We can, but in the current state of affairs in medicine, those are very, very expensive types of scans that are only done for research purposes.
All right, here's our next one. Total bed rest is the only recovery method. Fact or fiction?
I think that's fiction.
Well, the audience agrees with you for the most part. Doctor?
So it is fiction. At one point in time, it was thought that total bed rest was necessary to rest the brain, which makes a lot of sense. But over time, we've discovered that adding activity level into the body, stimulating the blood flow, helps to heal the brain, actually. So for our high school kids in particular, what we'll try to do is to get them on a walking program as long as their symptoms are starting to decline over time. And we'll get into some light jogging and try to get them back to activity as soon as possible. For those people that have more serious symptoms like loss of balance or headaches or muscle spasm and pain, we can also use physical therapy at the Neurosciences Institute as well. And the physical therapy can help restore balance, range of motion of the neck, and to help people with more advanced symptoms of concussion.
Right. Now, Doctor, I came up in a football family. My twin brother played in the NFL. We both have dealt with concussions in our lifetime. Football is not going away. This is a multi-billion-dollar sport. Can the sport ever get safer when it comes to concussions?
That's a difficult question to ask, but as long as people are hitting heads against each other, there's a high risk of concussion. So the fact that we have helmets available, that can be very, very helpful in some ways, but some people advocate actually getting rid of helmets, as you would play in rugby, for example, and that what that does is it discourages people to use their head as a weapon.
Yeah, would you be a proponent of that?
No, I think we should keep our helmets.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, great information, doctor. Thank you so much. For more information, head to healthydrivenchicago.com. We'll be right back.